I'm leaving to go to a committee meeting of the Appropriations Committee to talk about federal funding for health research. This is another issue which troubles me because of the lack of commitment of this Congress to one of the most fundamental responsibilities we have as a government. We are blessed with the best biomedical research agency in the world today, the National Institutes of Health, one of the most extraordinary public health agencies, the Center for Disease Control. And we continue year after year to underfund these agencies at the expense of America's health and at the expense of creating good-paying jobs in our country. For the last 10 years or more, we have failed to give the National Institutes of Health protection from inflation, and as a result, their spending power to award research grants has declined by 22% over the last 10 years. The researchers at the National Institutes of Health, there are fewer and fewer younger researchers. They've lost hope that there's a commitment by this government, by this nation, to medical research. And what is the net result of that? The net result of it is that we, at our peril, fail to do the research to find the cures for diseases that make a difference in the lives of Americans and American families. The Republicans argue it's just too darn much money. We can't afford medical research. Well, let me give you one statistic to think about. Last year, Medicare and Medicaid spent $203 billion of taxpayers' money, $203 billion on the victims of Alzheimer's. $203 billion. If research at the National Institutes of Health could get to the heart of this disease and find a way to cure it, that would be a miracle. Or delay its onset, seems within the realm of possibility maybe, we could save dramatic amounts of money. Medical research pays for itself. Now listen what's happening in the House of Representatives. We have a proposal for an extension of a tax code provision that will give a break to businesses to invest in research projects. There's nothing wrong with that. I've supported it. Throughout my time in the House and Senate, I've supported it. But listen to the logic. The Republicans in the House argue that if it's an R&D tax credit that goes to the private sector for research so they can develop new products and services and be more profitable and create more employment, the Republicans argue this does not have to be paid for. Over 10 years, it would cost us $140 billion for the extension of this credit on a 10-year basis to the private sector. And the Republicans have argued, yes, this may nominally add to the deficit, but in fact it doesn't. The research and development leads to more businesses, more jobs, more tax revenue to the government, and so they argue we don't have to pay for it. Now let me step over here. What about the research and development done, the medical research done by government agencies? Is that worth some money to taxpayers? Absolutely. Finding cures for diseases at the NIH, Alzheimer's, diabetes, cancer, I could go on, each and every one of them would be a savings to the taxpayers. And yet they argue, nope, that's government spending. That adds to the deficit. That is such upside-down thinking. It is such a denial of reality. Basic fundamental medical research and biomedical research by these agencies relieves suffering, finds cures for diseases, and reduces the expenditures of our government on health care. I would argue that it is just as justifiable, if not more so, for us to be making the same investment in increasing biomedical research over a 10-year period of time, incidentally, at the same cost. A 5% increase, real increase, in spending in biomedical research each year for the next 10 years at the National Institutes of Health, the Center for Disease Control, the Department of Defense Medical Research, the Veterans Administration Medical Research, those four agencies, 5% real growth, comes out to almost identically the same cost as extending the R&D tax credit for private companies. Do them both. Do them both, and I guarantee you America will get more than $140 billion return from each one of them. Thinking ahead in an innovative way with some vision towards the future, investing in research is really buying for the next generation a better life in America and a stronger economy for our country.